The Trinidad and Tobago Paralympic Association recently concluded its Grassroots Parasport Festival with a closing event last Thursday at the National Racquet Sports Centre in Tacarigua. In attendance were Mr. Sudhir Ramesa, President of the Ttpa, along with representatives of the Americas Paralympic Committee, the CAF Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, the Honourable Philip Watts, along with other specially invited guests. The event focused on the findings and recommendations of the Grassroots Project, an initiative by the CAF in collaboration with the Americas Paralympic Committee. The project aims to promote inclusive sport and enhance support for local para-athletes. Among the recommendations was the formation of a unified committee combining the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee and the Trinidad and Tobago Paralympic Committee.
The suggestion is to link or to join the National Olympic and Paralympic Committee. Why? Because we know that we don't have much funds, and the idea is to start working together. In most of the islands, as Juan Paulo mentioned, we just came from Barbados. They have a very good relationship. And most of the funds of the National Paralympic Committee comes from the National Olympic Committee.
There is an international tendency to start working for more inclusive sports systems as opposed to segregated. So, for example, in the US, in Norway and in other countries similar to Caribbean countries in the Oceania region, you don't have an Olympic committee and a Paralympic committee together, but you have Olympic and Paralympic associations or committees or federations. But this needs to be very well regulated so that it's not a federation or a committee that pays a lot of attention to able-bodied athletes and not so much to adaptive sports athletes.
Trinidad and Tobago was one of only 3 Caribbean nations, along with Barbados and Jamaica, selected to benefit from the Grassroots Project. The initiative included a comprehensive evaluation of local sporting facilities, accommodations, and the transport system to determine accessibility levels for differently abled persons.
The consultant mentioned that you have very good sports facilities, but the idea is just to make small interventions.
In terms of accessibility improvements, I think those are minor works, but still works to be done that CAF would be happy to finance.
The idea of designing an athlete's village for easy transport to and from facilities was suggested. He reiterated their willingness to partner with the ministry to fund the project.
Second, on the second component on infrastructure, we identified a problem on transportation and a problem on lodging. So we need to design the solution for the transportation gap that we have right now and for the lodging gap that we have right now. How could this look like? A Paralympic an athlete's village in the provinces or a hotel, I don't know. As CAF, we will be happy to work with the country to design the solution.
Honourable Philip Watts, Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, stated that the suggestions fall in line with the ministry's plan. However, funding is needed to make the required improvements. As such, the minister is eager to work with the CAF to support the development of inclusive sports nationwide.
We are not all that financially equipped to deal with most of these things, but once we are getting the support from CAF, this ministry is ready to go.
To formally close the event, attendees were treated to a dynamic display as para-athletes showcased their skills in their chosen sports, while the minister underscored the spirit of inclusion by joining the athletes on the court. Speaking to us after the event, the minister spoke about the ministry's plans.
Most of the recommendation is falling in sync with what we want to do as a Ministry of Sport in taking sport forward. What we will do, we will get back to the drawing board. We will examine most of the recommendations carefully and ensure that it fits into what we want to do as a Ministry of Sport. Well, I'm very, very much impressed with what I'm seeing here today. We have the allotment of athletes to actually participate. What we will be doing as a Ministry of Sport, as I'm seeing all this happening here now and the amount of athletes and the games that they're involved in, we will try to start funding most of it, and this is definitely inclusion of all athletes here. So I love what I'm seeing here.
On behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Paralympic Committee, I'd like to extend thanks and gratitude to the Minister for taking the time off from his busy schedule to be with us today and learning firsthand of the job it takes with para sports and what is required. And for the Latin American CAF and the American Paralympic Committee, I would like to thank them for being here to bring an insight and to help us as a developing nation to develop para sport in a more holistic way to create greater inclusion for people with a disability and change mindsets through sports.
I am Carla Mendez Ambris reporting.